Okay, this is the first stop as we're coming up the power lines from Hunter Road. And this is one of the small pumping stations for the water that is used at the fish hatchery, which is down right over this hill, headed over towards I-35. There's a main power line LCRA owns that goes up along here. This is actually city property currently before the new annexation. City originally had planned on a road going through here. That is since they tried to move that over to McCarty Lane because they didn't want it that close to the Paso Robles project, and folks did not like that, and so who knows, we may still see that happening. This is why the gate is now locked down at the road. Legal dumping in these kind of areas is prevalent. We don't see as much as I remember seeing in San Antonio, but people, even when you have opportunities for them to go and to take their trash for recycling, still try to find these locations wherever they can just dump things and leave them. Couches and mattresses. This is one of the borders of the new Paso Robles development. From this area over here is not to be developed. Everything that I'm panning to the right will be developed from the fence line on up. We are looking back on McCarty Road, back of property, back behind the Baptist church. And again, we're along the water lines leading back to the wells that are used by the fish hatchery. This is one of the water features here that is a wash into the recharge zone, and these are areas here that will fill up with water. As you can see here, these get to be 3-4 feet deep. These are the washes that when we have the heavy rains, that go back into our recharge, into our water supply. I've come up the stream bed. I'm now deep into a thicket of junipers, or what we call cedar around here. These were actually a cash crop. Once all of the native grasses were cleared out of the way, these came up and grew into the area. Now this right in front of me here is not cedar. This is what we know of as smoke, but right here is a burrow for some armadillos, fairly recently used. But the cedar was harvested and used as fence posts up until the 1930s, and a lot of the people that lived around here would come in and cut these cedars down, and then they'd let them regrow and stack them up and take them down to the rail and ship them off. And so you'll see a lot of stumps back in some of these areas from the cedar cuttings from back around 100 years ago. Okay, we've moved a little bit further up the wash. Again, this is one of the areas here that should be on someone's map to be an area that we need to make sure is left undeveloped. This right here is what is washed down from the last time we had the heavy rains back out in this area. This keeps the rainwater from getting speed. And this is why we're down in a small little valley here that you'll see. Nature has some natural levees that are all over through the area here. As the water comes down, runs off of these limestone structures, and there's not a lot of soil to absorb, so it comes down into these areas. As we take these natural little dams out of the equation, the water will run away faster, will not be retained, and we'll have more flooding further on downstream. Well, even out here in the deep brush, the presence of man is still here. Whether it's 60, 70, 80, 100 years ago, we still have our footprint that is here. Just there wasn't as many of us around here. If you look back in the 1940s, 1950s, the population was not as dense. So yeah, we had our effect. We left our imprints, but it's kind of funny to still see even when you get out here in the middle of deep brush. When you get out in the deep brush, what you look for is the deer trails, because they've already knocked out a lot of this juniper, and that allows you to get through this stuff. Purgatory Creek was named for a gentleman that got lost out in this thick brush. And you get down in and you can see where you don't have a good idea of your sense of direction and which way you're going. And so he was going from San Marcos to Wimberley, or from Wimberley to San Marcos, and he ended up getting lost for 2 to 3 days. And his story was that he got lost in Purgatory, and that was how we got the name of this area and the creek back up here. And then you come up on these breaks, little areas that are kind of little meadows in the middle of the woods.